TinkerCAD tips. This is TinkerCAD 101, and this is going to be lesson number 8. And in this lesson, I'm going to go over a tool that I think everybody needs to be aware of because of how powerful it is. And that's this icon right over here, this fountain pen nib called the Sketch tool. This thing can do a lot of things that we wouldn't necessarily be able to do with all of these other shapes that were given. For instance, here's an example I did quite some time ago. These shields here, and this was done in a couple of different parts that I made within the Sketch tool to give them, dimensions. So I want to take you through some of the things that I know about the Sketch tool, and I urge everybody to explore this as well to see what it can do. For instance, this is one example here. I have this recycle icon that's just an SVG that I imported here. You can see it there. It's just an image that I found on Google, converted to an SVG and brought that in. But this background to it here that I wanted to make, that was done with the Sketch tool. Let me zoom in a bit here. I'll click on Edit Sketch to show you how I did this. So this is kind of what the Sketch tool looks like. It's two-dimensional orthographic. You're always looking top down, all right? You also have a snap grid down here that you can set anywhere from 5 millimeters all the way down to off. And let me show you sort of how it works here. We'll zoom in. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on this little icon or hit the letter P to start a new design. Now, as you lay these points, I can choose to either do a straight line or a Bezier curve. And that's over here to the left. You'd type a keyboard 1 to create a straight line, keyboard 2 to be a Bezier curve. So, for instance, a straight line might look like this. I can put that spot there, another one there, another one there. The last one, I've closed off the shape. All right. I can also, let's undo all of this. I can also draw those as curves. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit the number 2. I'm going to drop one point here, and when I come to this point, I'm going to hold down the left mouse button, and by using these handles, I can change the shape of that curve. So I'm going to come around here. Let's drop my next point. I'm going to hold that in place. You can see I can do all sorts of stuff with that. Can change the shape all around, hit the number 1, and now I'm back to being a straight line. You can also do open-ended shapes. I'm going to click on pen again. I'm going to drop a point here. I'm going to hit the number 2. Let's do a curve here. And do another one here. Now, if I come over here and click this green check mark, I have an open-ended curve. And with that, we now have some new things that are available to us here. We have this says close path. That would close off the path for us. In this case, I don't want to do that. Instead, I want to take and give this shape some depth. So I can set the width here. Here we have 2 millimeters. You can see the width of that changing. Let's make that 5 millimeters. I can come over here. I can make the joints of this rounded, etc. Oops, let's come back. Click on that again. Let's come back here and let's close this off for a moment. We can get our corners here. I can do inside, outside. You can see where this is building on the outside of the line, on the center of the line. And this is how the joinery goes, either sharp, you see these sharp points here, rounded points, etc., or even beveled. Let's come back here and undo that open-ended. Let's click on that again. I'm going to select this line and delete it. Let's start a new one. We'll say that that's open-ended. Whoop, we don't want to close that path. We'll change the width here. And we can change the ends of this to be either round, squared off, flat like that. So you see here where we have a lot of different choices for things that we can do in here. Let me go ahead and finish the sketch. I'll go ahead and delete that one. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Well, we'll re-edit that sketch. I want to get rid of this part of it here. We'll go back to finish sketch. Now I'm going to go back to this recycle symbol here. I have this sketch. And of course, we can change the depth of this. Now with sketch, of course, you're 2 dimensions. But still, you can do things like these. And I had other tutorials where I've shown how to make these shields by looking at it from different perspective, like from this perspective, from the front perspective. So let's come back to this sketch here. One of the other things you can do in here while you have the sketch selected, if you double click on it, all of these straight lines will become curved. Notice now everything's curved. If I click Finish Sketch, that has an entirely different look to it. So there's lots of things that you can do with the sketch tool. You can make shapes that you wouldn't be able to find in the normal tools. And if you want to know more about the features, if you come into Sketch, click up here at the top where it says Sketch Features. It walks you through how it can be used, how to use the pen tool to drop your different points, and whether or not they're Bezier curve or straight line. The Edit tool, different actions, how to add and remove points. If you've never used the sketch tool before, I urge you to come in here and try this because you can make so many things with it. We'll do another quick one here. Let's drop a point. I'm going to hit the number 2 for a Bezier curve. Stretch this out a bit. Here's another point. Now, if you don't like that curve the way that it is, don't worry, you could come back to it and re-edit it. Let's drop another point there and another point there. Once you're done, you can click on that shape and you can come to any one of these points and change these angles. Now, right now, this is a flat curve. I can also change this to where they're independent. I can change one side of the curve or the other. You can also eliminate points. Let's undo that. I can come in here. If I don't like this particular point, whoops, I can come in there and delete those points. For instance, that one. Can undo that. You can also add points. If I wanted to create a point here, I can create that. There's my point. So that's the sketch tool. Come and learn this. There's so many things that you can do with the sketch tool. As always, like, follow, repost. If you have comments about this particular lesson, let me know. Drop those in the comments. If you have ideas for other TinkerCAD tips tutorials, drop me a DM. Till the next time, happy tinkering. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have fun.